And we are live. Good morning. Good morning, Debbie.
Morning, Bertie. How are you doing?
I'm all the better for seeing you, my dear.
Oh, well, that's good, isn't it? Making everybody's Fridays brighter.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what you're doing in your yellow attire. Although just the yellow earrings today.
I know, but I thought there's enough yellow behind.
There's
enough. I don't have to. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. What are we talking about this morning?
Today we're talking about email marketing.
Woo!
Email marketing. It's one of those, like, I mean, we had a Marmite episode, didn't we, a long time ago? But it's one of those things that either I think a lot of people don't do because they think, oh, email marketing's dead and it's horrible, it's dirty and it's spammy. So yeah, we really wanted to talk about that today. So what's your experience of email marketing, Doodle?
I love it. But I think you're right. I think people think, oh, email, it's like an old form of marketing. It kind of almost feels like telegrams. Like, who does that anymore? Nobody opens their emails. There's all these kind of myths around it. But actually, it's got one of the best return on investments out of all the types of marketing that you can do. So,
Absolutely.
If you look at effort versus return, it's got a really good return for people. And I love it because it enables you to build a relationship with people. And you might think, like you said, email's a bit dirty, but we all check our emails every day, sometimes several times a day. And so you're landing in somebody's inbox and you're showing up. And even if they don't read it, you're getting that brand recognition.
Absolutely. It's one of the, I mean, the main reason that I like it is because you just have 100% control of the list, right? Like, you have those email addresses. I mean, it's all permission based. I'm not talking about cold email and stuff. Like, if you're thinking about doing that, don't.
It's against the law.
It's the law. Not that we can, like, we've all broken the odd law now and again, haven't we? Dare not mention any names.
Wow.
Just breaking the law. But yeah, regardless of it's just really bad practice. It's just a shitty thing to do. Like, it's just annoying, isn't it? Like, if you get that cold email through, it's like, what? Why? Like, who's who responds to those things? So yeah, if you don't respond to them to yourself, it's like, don't do unto others that you wouldn't do unto yourself, or whatever the phrase is. But we're talking about permission-based marketing. So if somebody has opted in, if they've asked to receive your emails, then you should be sending them. So if someone's bought a product or a service from you, if you're not emailing them, then now is the time to start.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, you own that. And I think the thing is that people can rely too much on social media platforms and think, well, I've built my audience on social media platforms. But what if, God forbid, Facebook decides to shut you down? This literally does happen.
It does.
Or everybody decides that Instagram isn't cool anymore and goes to another platform, and you've spent years building your audience on this platform and everybody shifts over. If you get their email addresses, then you own that. That's a business asset. Mm-hmm. And that data is so important. And I think one of the things to think about is, if you're on the fence and you're not sure whether email marketing is for you, look how many big brands are desperately trying to get our emails. Like, even if I go into the bricks and mortar store of H&M, at that point of sale, they're trying to get my email address off me. Absolutely. Do you want me to email you your receipt? Do you want to sign up to our club and give me your email address? If big brands like H&M in the bricks and mortar bit of trying to get you your email, that's a massive sign of how important it is to businesses. So, we learn from what bigger businesses are doing. Clearly, email isn't dead. Like, that's without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, it's not dead, and it's a lot of people do it wrong. There are some people that are really doing it right, and there's always the bits in the middle, but it is certainly not dead. And it is this concept of, if you've got customers where they bought a product from your service or thinking about buying, whatever point they are in your sales pipeline, then there's generally no reason you shouldn't be emailing them. I mean, yeah, let's just take one of the great fads of like last year, this year, Clubhouse, right? Yeah. So loads of people built huge Clubhouse audiences, and now Clubhouse, for whatever reason, has just stopped. Like, people just stopped. I've even deleted the app, stopped notifications a while ago. Like, gone from something that I was using a lot to don't even check in anymore. So it might be doing all right. I'm sure the owners of Clubhouse aren't worried particularly too much. However, if you were showing up all the time and your audience suddenly dropped on Clubhouse,
Yeah.
you've got no way of communicating or reaching them now. It's not that you can DM them on the platform or anything like that, or, you might have connected in other ways. However, if from the beginning you were trying to get those audiences to join your email list, etc., then you can still communicate with them, because it might just be that audience still enjoyed your stuff, but not at the expense of having to go through the rigmarole of reinstalling Clubhouse and having those notifications pop up every time some Tom, Dick, and Harry goes live on there. So it's not that they don't want you; it's just they didn't particularly like that platform. So email is a great way of still communicating with people.
Yeah, and it's a way to build that relationship slowly, because when people turn up and they find you on social media, or they might find your website, they might still be in that I'm looking around, I'm shopping around phase. They might not be ready to commit and buy something. They might not know who you are yet. They don't trust you. If you've got something on your website that says sign up to my email list and I'm going to give you a freebie, for product-based businesses, it's generally 10% off your first order. For service-based businesses, it's generally a free piece of content or advice. So you're giving somebody something in exchange for their email address. They give you their email address, and then you get to nurture them. And that's really important in the kind of buying cycle, is that you are doing that nurturing and you are looking after them and you are showing up and giving them value and all of that stuff, so that when they are at the point of that, being able to make that decision and actually make that purchase, you're showing up regularly. They're building a relationship with you. They're starting to trust you. If they'd landed on your website 3 months ago, they're not going to remember who you are 3 months later.
That's right.
Even if you're amazing, they just won't, because we have information pouring into our ears and eyes all the time. And so actually it's showing up consistently. And one of the best ways to do that is through email. And I just think, like, recently I just started up a new business with Emmy, called Debbie and Emmy Limited, and we're working together. And I was her business coach for a number of years. And that relationship was nurtured through my emails. And I remember it's one particular email that I sent to Emmy, which was about, it was a quote from the Tao of Pooh and the Tay of Piglet. So it was me telling a story that was in another book that I'd read. And she replied and said, I love this. Let's start working together. I didn't know she'd been on my email list for ages. I didn't know. And now we're running a business together. And that was through an email. That was through her ending up on my website, signing up to my lead capture, signing up to emails, me emailing her for a year. And then one of those emails, she went right and ready to buy. And then we've developed a relationship and started a business. If I didn't have an email capture on my website and I wasn't sending weekly emails, I would not be running this business with her now. Like, that's such a good example of, if you're not doing it, bloody go and do it.
Yes.
Like, you're missing out. And to be able, if you're running a business, you should be creating great content anyway. Like, you should already have something to say. So that's what you send in your email, whatever you're saying that week, whatever the topic is, whatever the thing that you're focusing on, whether it's, maybe our emails next week will be email marketing. And then we'll say, come and watch this video, but you've got something to say if you're providing a service or you've got products. And get in there, talk to people, build those relationships. So important in business. Don't just expect people to remember you. Like, that's kind of arrogant in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
People should know who I am.
Yeah, and we all have, I think especially like when you're service-based and it's your own content, like you are your own brand, you can always get a little bit self-conscious, like, oh, I've been showing up on social media too much. People are going to get a bit annoyed. Like, people just don't notice. Like, nobody actually cares generally about the stuff. And even if you send an email that people don't like, they'll just either delete it or, the very worst, then unsubscribe.
Yeah.
It isn't necessarily the end of the word. And unsubscribes aren't a bad thing. All you're doing there is just curating your audience, the people that really do love you. Yeah. Like, I started sending out daily emails at the beginning of the year. Now, this is when people originally signed up to that list. Like, I'd not probably sent an email to my list for 6 months before doing that. So I sent look, you're on my list. I'm now going to start sending emails daily. Feel free to unsubscribe. And probably lost a significant portion in the first 2 weeks, especially when they started reading the content of the emails. But those people, I'm pleased because when I looked at them, it's like, I'm never going to work with them anyway. Like, it's just wasting time. And it's a vanity metric. Oh, I've got so many people on my email list. It's like, it doesn't matter. They're not going to buy from me. They're not. And I'm not necessarily. And this isn't about money, I suppose, as well. So let me just clarify. When I say they're not going to buy from me, what I mean is they're not going to get any value in any of the content. If they're reading my emails and thinking this guy's an idiot, then they better unsubscribe. Because if they think I'm an idiot, then anything that I say, they're not going to take seriously anyway. If anything, it's going to push them the other way. So they're better off not on my email list. But if there's ever a point, and like what you say with Emmy, like there might be a point in the future where someone then is like, do you know what? I've been reading this guy's emails on and off for about a year, however long. Now I want to work with him because they know me a lot better.
Yeah, and it's that slow build, isn't it? And people just aren't going to remember you. They just aren't. Like, it doesn't matter how big you think you are in your own ego. So being able to develop that relationship with people over time is massively important. And whether you send them daily, like Bertie does, or whether you send them weekly, like me, or whether you send them monthly, it's about that consistency, isn't it? It's about that consistency. So if you're listening or watching and you're thinking, well, I'd like to start emailing, but I'm not sure how to do it, just commit to something. If it's fortnightly, commit to fortnightly. If weekly scares you, if daily scares you, do weekly, but commit to something and start showing up. And don't worry about those unsubscribes, because like you said, Bertie, they're not your customers. And exactly. That's okay. Like, that's okay. Not everybody loves us because we're all going to be Marmite. We're back to that Marmite thing again, aren't we? Some people will love your daily emails, Bertie, and they'll be the people who are best placed to buy your services. And some people will be like, no, and then that's fine as well. But if you're not doing email marketing, if you're not regularly showing up, there's a massive gap in your marketing strategy. Like, get on it.
Completely. So if you are going to start, what I will say is, don't just say, right, I'm going to send an email today. It's in the same way that, like, right, I'm going to start doing social media. I'm going to do a single post. Like, you will get nothing from it. Yeah. So outline what you're going to do, and the plan can change. It doesn't mean that the plan has to be, set in stone for whatever. But when I started sending daily emails at the beginning of the year, it was like, I'm going to do this for at least a year. That's quite a big commitment. Not saying you have to do that, but if you're going to say, right, I'm going to do a weekly email, then do a weekly email, but do it for at least 3 months, 6 months, something. And it's a bit like showing up to a networking meeting. If you're going to a networking meeting or sending an email and like expecting sales from that initial thing, unless it's a real product-based targeted special offer, then of course that's a little bit different. But generally, these things start to work over time. It's about building trust. It's about building your brand over there and just really getting to know them in the same way you were doing social media. So don't just expect instant results, because that is not the case. So it's something that you will do over time. So set an expectation, whether it's weekly, monthly, whatever. I mean, you send weekly emails. I know people that send one like monthly, but you know exactly when that email is going to come. Not that mine go out at a time of day or anything, but there is one email a day, come rain or shine, that goes out. And you're the same. I always get an email from you on a Thursday.
Yeah, my Thursday email.
There you go. Thursday email. Please tell me I've got that right.
Yeah, it is Thursday. It is Thursday, and it's great that you know that. Although, I'm a human being, and sometimes it falls to a Friday, and that's fine. So we've got a question here from Kate Baker that says, can we pop that up? Oh, I can't pop that up. You pop that up. So if we do a post on our own group daily or weekly or even monthly, and that is to a group of targeted followers, do we still have to do emails? Yeah, because you're posting on social media and you don't own that platform, but you do own your email list, and people might not see the post if it goes onto there, if you're posting on social media. And capturing those email lists means that your business has longevity. You're future-proofing your business. Everybody might decide that Facebook is, and they kind of have, like Facebook's dropped off a bit of a cliff and everybody's gone to Instagram. So, not everybody, but that's definitely a pattern that I'm seeing. And so if you're just building an audience on one platform and everybody decides that it's not the cool thing anymore, you're going to miss all of that opportunity. So definitely start building an email list. That's the future of your business. That's kind of the foundation. And if you're not sure what to post, it always goes back to who's your customer? What do they want? What does success look like to them? What would be interesting to them? And how can you add value? And I think it's back to that like 80-20 ratio. Like, you can sell to your email list But you want to be giving value. You know, one of the emails I love opening might have a bit of a sales message, but it might have, this is the book I'm reading this week, or go and check out this podcast, or here's a really nice blog post I found. So there's extra value in there as well. Or they're emails that are teaching me something. So at the end of reading that email, I'm like, great, I've learned something from that. And that makes me want to open them again. So go back to who's your customer and create messages that's going to help them in their quest to get wherever it is that they want to go. And Kate, if you're creating, like, maybe you're creating lives on your social media and you do a live every week, there's no reason why your email can't be, go and watch this week's live, you know, and sending more people back to that social media post. So think about that piece of content that you created that week, and you can almost use your email list to go over there. So Kate says, I do have an email list. I lost a number under privacy rules changed, so we'll start that. I'm on a few. Yeah, great. Go for it, Kate. Get building that email list. It's really important. If H&M are doing it, if Made.com are doing it, if John Lewis is doing it, email is not dead.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much you can do with email, Kate, and like, to anyone watching or listening now, because this is going out on the podcast as well. You can, like, if you're worried about it, just start doing something like, you know, depending when you're watching, listening on the replays. Like, we're currently in the middle of the year 2021. I started sending daily emails at the beginning of the year. Like, writing is not my strong point. I remember meeting Debbie a couple of years ago, and she was like, what do you enjoy? And it's like, I didn't list the things that I enjoyed. It's like, I don't enjoy writing. So it was a real push for me, but I've written 188 of these emails now, because that's how many days we are through the year. And it gets easier. And I had some feedback a couple of days ago from someone who said, you know, you're really good at writing these emails. Is it a case of practice makes perfect? And yeah, to a degree it is. From sitting down to write used to take me 3 or 4 hours. Now it takes me like 20 minutes. So it's, and I have a list of ideas. So as soon as you start writing, it then bleeds and cross-pollinates. You start to get other ideas for you to do it. So you don't necessarily have to do things every day. And I'm not recommending that you do, but certainly be consistent, and don't just think, right, I'm going to do a email and put loads of, like, don't send something and put loads of calls to action. Just keep it simple. If you're telling someone about a single product, or you want some feedback, just ask for that piece of feedback, and then another question, doing another email a couple of weeks later. You don't have to bombard no one's going to read a huge long email full of, like, here's our offers, whatever. Just keep it really, really simple, and let us know how it goes. You know how to get in touch with us. It's dead easy to find. Debbie Doodah. There's not many Debbie Doodahs in the world.
No, I've picked a good name there. And Bertie, come and check us out on social media. We're back here next week for a podcast, or at 10, all across social media. And we look forward to sharing some more knowledge with you. Come with your questions. If you've got any topics that you would love us to cover, pop that in the comments as well. We'll get through those. We want to be here to help you build and grow your businesses, and, you know, do that with a bit of ease and a bit of joy. So it's not tricky. We want to make it fun.
Ease and a bit of joy. That's what
ease and joy. Come on a Friday morning.
Everyone loves a bit of joy on a Friday. Right then. I'm sure Joy does as well. Let's see you next week, Debbie, for another 10 minutes or 18 minutes and 11 seconds of Q&A every Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, listening, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Take